Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Anna Cha and I'm an environmental content creator. So I do a lot of communications on environmental issues and I try to advocate for sustainability. So this is part of that, and today's video focuses on something that I'm really passionate about, and that is natural skincare hacks. And so when I say natural, I really mean that these are ingredients that you can find in your kitchens most likely already. And those are ingredients that enable you to incorporate more sustainability in your beauty routine because you're not contributing to plastic waste, and also you're being very conscious about the ingredients that go on your skin. If you're anything like me, you care about what you put on your skin because a lot of the products that are sold currently on the market have really harmful chemicals for the skin and for the environment. So today we're going to go through 6 of my favorite ingredients that you can probably already find in your kitchen, and hopefully you can learn something. Little side note, I definitely do not have perfect skin. I wear makeup every day. I would say I use foundation. And I would say my skin is definitely my biggest insecurity. And I think that's also why I've spent so much time in my life trying to find the products that suit my skin type and that make me feel good and that make me feel like I'm actually owning the skin in which I live. So if you're anything like me in that regard, I feel you, and there's definitely ways to have a more natural approach to the way you're taking care of your skin. The first ingredient that I want to talk about is honey. Honey is absolutely wonderful for the skin, and not only for the skin on your face, but also for healing scars. It has been proven on multiple occasions that honey has some healing properties. It also balances the bacteria on your skin, and it is moisturizing. So honey is something that I really love using. One thing though that is important when you're purchasing honey and you know you're going to put it on your face, I would really recommend that you buy organic honey. The best is Manuka honey, but it's really expensive. So here I'm using raw honey that was collected by hand without treatments or feeding. So it's totally wild raw honey. And the way I use it is in the morning when I wake up, I wash my skin and I just apply a coat of honey on it and let it sit for 5 minutes and then rinse it out. So that's something that I find is a good way to prep my skin for whatever I'm going to put next. Although it is not something I do every single day. I would say maybe I do it once a week, and I find that quite wonderful. Honey is also an ingredient I use in one of my favorite face masks. It's a homemade face mask that I make on my own and that I mix about once or twice a week. And so I'll go through the steps of that process in just a couple minutes to tell you how I make that face mask, because it contains only 3 ingredients and they're really easy to find. But for now, let's move on to ingredient number 2 in my list of favorite natural ingredients. So second ingredient is cacao. So this is raw cacao right here. It's a bar that I bought in Panama. It's 100% cacao nativo, which means native, as you can see here. But yeah, I love this bar and I use it and I grate it. And so a lot of studies shows that using cacao on your skin actually has sort of the same benefits as eating it. And so as you may know, it's a really potent antioxidant. So it slows premature aging, and it's also great for the healing and the balancing of your skin. So this is definitely an ingredient I use very often, and most specifically in the mask that I was just telling you about. And I just, grate it with a grater, but you could already buy it already grated and use it in that way. So cacao, amazing ingredient for me. Next ingredient is vinegar, although I recommend using apple cider vinegar. This one's alcohol vinegar, but I ran out of apple cider vinegar. So in my case, it has been found that vinegar has a lot of vitamins and minerals, and that it's actually really good for your hair. So that's the way I personally use it. And what I do is I create a hair rinse with it. So I'll just put a couple big spoonfuls of vinegar at the bottom of the bottle, then I'll fill the rest of the bottle with cold water, add a couple drops of essential oils just for smell. So you can use lavender, for example, that's the one I use. And then after my shampoo, so my hair is wet, I've just shampooed it and rinsed it. As a last rinse, I will use my vinegar rinse. So after that, I'm not rinsing again, I'm just leaving the vinegar in my hair, essentially. And you may think, ooh, that's not gonna smell good. Well, it doesn't smell that much. It just smells on your towel, I guess. But after your hair dries, the vinegar smell totally disappears and your hair gets really soft and really shiny. So that's my little trick with vinegar, which I love using. I've read that vinegar can also help with dandruffs. I personally don't have any dandruff, so I can't say if it works, but definitely try it if you do, because it is just not a harmful ingredient and you won't lose anything by trying it, and it's actually pretty cheap. Next featured ingredient is coffee grind. So you have to be careful though not to use the raw coffee. This is just, it smells so good. It's raw coffee, but the way you do it is you brew it already and you just use the brewed coffee grinds. And so they're really, really good way to exfoliate your skin without participating on the main market of exfoliators, because a lot of the ones that you find in supermarkets, actually have plastic beads in them, and so you're exfoliating with plastic beads, which is terrible for the environment and also terrible for the waterways in which it ends up in. So this is a great sort of natural alternative to these industrial exfoliators. And the way I use it is I mix it with coconut oil usually, and I add a couple drops of some essential oil that I like, and I apply it to my skin during the shower, and that's how I exfoliate my skin. It smells so good. And you can also combine it with brown sugar, so you can mix coffee grinds, brown sugar, coconut oil, and that essential oil drop of your choice. Next ingredient is in this jar right here, and it's loose clay. It's really easy to find and purchase. I use white clay personally. There's a couple of different clays. There's pink clay, there's a red clay, and they all sort of have different skin properties. Over the years, I found personally that the white clay worked best for me, and that's what I use to make my secret face masks. So right now I'll go through the recipes and show you guys how it looks on my skin when I have it on. I do it about twice a week. And so what I do is I'll mix some clay with a bit of cacao grinded. So I grind the cacao really finely. I add a bit of clay and I add honey in it. So you can also use clay that comes in those pots that are sort of liquidy. That works well too, but you can use dry clay as well and put some more honey. In terms of proportions, I've got to say, not the best with proportions. I kind of just look at it, and until it has a good consistency that I know will sit well on my skin, then it works for me. But yeah, the ingredients are super easy. It's just honey, raw honey. Be careful with that. Make sure it's raw and it's organic. That's really important. Cacao grinded, so cacao shaved really, really small, and clay, powdered clay. So yeah, I'll get the mask on and show you guys what it looks like. Alright, I'm back and I've just taken off all my foundation, and now I'm going to apply the mask that I've mixed here in a plate. Looks kind of gross, but actually feels really good on my skin. So I'll just apply it like that. Alright, kind of looks like you smeared shit all over your face, but it could also look like chocolate cake batter. Either way, two interpretations, and it smells really, really good. So when you rinse it out, you kind of smell like a cupcake for a couple of hours after. And so what I do, I usually let it sit for about 10 minutes and rinse it out, and then try not to apply any makeup right after it, but I'll always moisturize after a face mask. So I have two more ingredients to share with you for the natural beauty hacks, but first I'll let this mask sit, rinse it out, and then I'll come back in a second. Alright, I just rinsed it off and it feels great. As always, it's really one of my favorite masks to make myself, and it really replaces a lot of the sheet masks that you buy in supermarkets or in beauty stores where you don't really know what the ingredients are in there. I don't know if you've ever read the back of them, but they're actually quite startling because there's so many words that I just don't understand on those packets. So yeah, let's go through those last two ingredients. Alright, don't mind the jar because obviously this is not coconut oil, it's actually brown sugar, and brown sugar is an ingredient that I use a lot, especially for scrubs. And so the way I use it, as opposed to the coffee scrubs that I just told you guys about, this one I use in the form of a lip scrub. So what I do is I'll mix it with some kind of oil, and so usually I do argan oil, but you can also use coconut oil if you'd like, and I'll mix some brown sugar in it, make this tiny amount of mixture, and scrub it on my lips. And the last ingredient is coconut oil. So I've spoken about it already a little bit, but coconut oil is a great combination oil to use on your skin. It's really moisturizing. One thing I will say though is that you shouldn't use coconut oil if you have a skin that has a tendency to plug up a lot, and like you feel like your skin is already quite oily or greasy. Then I don't recommend using coconut oil because it is a very moisturizing oil. But the way I use it personally is sometimes in the morning I want to do a lymphatic massage of my face when I have time. And so what I'll do is I'll just put coconut oil directly on my face, massage my face, and then I'll rinse it with some soap-based cleanser and rinse that out, and then apply my regular skincare routine just as an extra step to get my skin nice and prepped and moisturized for the day. But yeah, I guess that's all for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope these zero waste skincare essentials were helpful for you. And please don't hesitate to ask me if you have any questions right in the comment below. You can ask me anything and I'll try to answer to the best of my ability.